It was the fall of the year 1999. A pair of triceratopses as free as they can be. They had a clutch of eggs, which produced this little guy. And it continued to be like this for 2 weeks. Until one day, everything changed. And she was born. This cute young triceratops is Kate. And we're going to be seeing how she lived her life as a female triceratops. That right there is her brother, her older brother. But that's when these two quickly realized how big the world can be. These two are dumbfounded, but yet amazed of how much flora and fauna there are. The father keeps telling them to get moving. Kate seems hesitant, but having no other choice, she goes anyway. And they took their first sip out of the Great Axe Lake. This was their life for the next 3 years until, sadly, it was just like any other day. A little bit rainy, a little bit gloomy, but everything was still peaceful here on the island, especially for Kate and her brother. Well, almost. But sadly, no matter how many times this happens, it's always a certainty it will happen. Predators will always stalk the island. These are Yangchuanosauruses, one of the most vicious carnivores to ever exist. Everything seems peaceful at first, until suddenly fearing for their lives, Kate's father tells them to get moving again. A chase ensues, and there is now a stampede. But suddenly, Kate and her brother had just been shoved out of the way, and now they've been separated from their parents. Without no mom and dad, Kate and her brother feel so unsafe out here, and they definitely are. This place is no place for a baby triceratops to survive on their own. They have to be wary and work together in order to survive. And of course, step 1 is to learn how. Kate is very depressed now her parents are gone, but she's at least grateful she has her amazing brother. Kate and her brother, they just feel so small without their parents. But size is not everything. Now these two know it better than most. Thanks to their size, they can hide in tiny spaces and run very fast, like a couple of mice in a field. Anything is scaring young Kate, simply because of their size and their features. But her brother just tells her there's nothing to be afraid of. As long as we're together, we will stay safe. Luckily for them, herbivores are not interested in eating other herbivores, so luckily they are safe for now, just as long as they don't mess with any of them. This was their life for the next 2 years. During that time, they managed to find shelter in a tree stump. Every day and night, every time they are done doing their basic things, they would always go back into the tree stump protection. And this continued for another 5 more years later. Now, of course, they've grown to their full sizes, at least almost, because right now they are young adults. But now they have less to worry about. Now they've got their precious horns that they use to stab their opponents with, and now being much heavier and more intimidating. Her brother, he feels like he can take on the world now. Kate is the opposite. She's still wary of the danger of this world, but she's at least happy that her brother is happy. And after a few months, sadly, things are still not over for this duo. Because unfortunately for them, danger is never lacking behind, no matter what size or age you are. Yes, this is the same Yangchuanosauruses that killed her parents. Stalking them like a pair of tigers waiting to pounce on their prey. These cunning killers, they're very sadistic and malicious. That is why these two must be wary. Before... One's got a pretty firm hold on her brother's tail. Kate and her brother are so sick and tired of these Yangchuanosauruses. They've been haunting them since they were young kids. But unfortunately for them, there seems to be also 2 of them. The 2 of them are now back to back, wondering what the heck should they do. That's when the 2 of them know they have to fight them to survive. She stabbed this one right in the chest. Thankfully, he bled out. Kate now turns to help her brother. Since her brother is now in a bit of trouble, Tyrannosaurus now has a good hold on his neck. As it looks like it's the end. Kate is daring him to bring it on. Until he notices the consequences that could possibly happen. Frustrated and injured and tired, the male seems to retreat, as now he is out of a partner. Kate and her brother are overjoyed. They just won a battle between their childhood nightmares. To celebrate, they decide to go eat in a field. This continued for another 2 years, until Kate has just been caught by the attention of a male bull. This male, of course, since it's mating season, he wants Kate as his mate. But unfortunately for him, he's gonna have to go through her brother first. Her brother is very overprotective of Kate. But of course, she tells him that he's got this. She sizes him up. He's got pretty wear and tear on his horns, meaning he's also experienced. She can also tell there's some damage on his frill, possibly from a rival. Against her brother's will, she accepts him as his mate. Her brother, of course, is now jealous. Her brother is making it clear, though, if this male tries anything stupid, then he will pierce his heart. This love ship continued for another 4.5 years. Until one day, a brand new generation of killers were now here to haunt the island. This is a Caprosuchus, also known as the boar croc, because Caprosuchuses, they are extremely lengthy crocodiles. Pretty much they have the legs of dogs. This one didn't just come alone. Knowing that this is going to be big game, he brought some buddies to help him. As we're about to see, we're going to see how strong these creatures really are. Her boyfriend seems to freak out over this crocodile thing. Kate is frightened too because she's never seen a creature this hideous or ugly. However, her brother takes care of it. But sadly, he's just unknowingly provoked the wrath of the Caprosuchuses. Because soon, the pair were completely surrounded. Sure, there are 3 of them. Well, until... fearing for his life, her boyfriend abandons her. Kate feels so betrayed. Her brother's outraged that this coward decided to leave them. And of course, now he's trying to protect his sister. They creep in closer, getting closer with those vicious teeth of theirs. Surrounded, of course, her brother fights back. Riding him like a vicious wild bull. He tosses that one off too. Kate is outraged, and now she's really not in the mood for this. Looks like what we got here is a standoff between predator and prey. That's when, realizing they bit off more than they could chew, these dog lizards go back to the deepest pits of the underworld where they came from. Kate and her brother did it. They fended off themselves against other predators. But sadly, Kate is now heartbroken that her boyfriend just left her like she was nothing. But of course, her brother tells her if he bees here, as long as he can, he will forever make sure that she'll stay safe. That cheers up Kate. This was their life for the next year until sadly tragedy is not done with them yet. As her brother was grazing, and she was too, feeling exhausted and thirsty, he goes back to the lake to get a drink. Kate does not follow, because obviously that's her brother. She knows that he's the toughest thing that she's ever seen. He goes back to the Axe Lake to get another drink, until that's when he sees something in the water, but he can't quite tell. She hears the cries of her brother. Unfortunately for poor Kate, she's too late. Right there, standing between her and her brother's dead body, is a vicious Sarcosuchus. A huge prehistoric crocodile that easily snatched up anything in its jaws and tore them to shreds. Kate, something inside her just awoken. She is extremely enraged. After everything she tried and tried, she is realizing that life is almost against her, at least what she thinks. Full of rage, Kate has had enough. No matter how dangerous this opponent may be, she is gonna kill this thing to avenge her brother. But being low to the ground, this thing is very dangerous, so Kate has to be very careful, especially not to get in those jaws. She starts goring it with her giant horns. She flips it over. Being immobilized, this giant super croc has no idea what to do, so Kate finishes him. Kate starts going a little bit overkill with this thing. She starts tearing him to pieces, spreading his intestines everywhere. Till finally, the screaming stops. Kate has done it, but sadly, not without a cost. Kate looks into her brother's lifeless eyes, and she wishes she had the power to bring him back, but sadly she doesn't. She wails by his body and stays by it for the next 2 hours. Kate, she's now extremely lost. She has no idea what to do now. But she has to stay strong. Her brother has always taught her, when he dies, it's up to her now to survive. And now he's dead, and now it's up to Kate to make sure that she has a great life, so she can't hang on to her brother forever. She gives him one final farewell before setting out on her great journey through this life that she will now live. This cycle continued for another 8.5 years. And then Kate met a new mate. She was hesitant at first, but she realized this one was much more mature than the first one she met. Finally, Kate had a new friend, or more than a friend, until that fateful day. And you might be wondering, where is he at now? Sadly, he's been hunted down a long time ago. But Kate, at least she has a new friend. Seems like no matter what challenges come Kate's way, she will always keep her family safe and her friends that will come along the way, because she is Kate, the female Triceratops of Jurassic Adventure. Well, almost every threat